On this fine Sunday afternoon, thanks for clicking on to Vogan's European Outlook. Hope everybody is enjoying their weekend thus far. We are certainly talking about plenty of sunshine in many parts of the country. Bumpy road coming up as we see some Atlantic weather moving in from the west as we go through this week, but we do still have the potential for surges of warmth. Now, the modelling is waxing and waning as expected, moving back and forward with the solution, and the overall idea has always been that we could see a kind of up and down theme, but the general emphasis being on warmer and drier than normal. This is the ECMWF. This is the latest run of the GFS, should I say. Actually, I can never get it right, always have to muck something up. But this is the GFS ensemble upcoming 5-day period. 2-minute temperature anomalies, warm across Iberia, France, Central Europe, and somewhat warmer than normal across the UK and Ireland, maybe a little bit less so than the continent. The 6 to 10 day remains with the warmer than normal theme, and the 11 to 15 day also warmer than normal. In fact, the ensemble indicates temperatures on the rise versus the normal. And of course, we are seeing the average temperature rising as we press through the month of May. We gain another few degrees between the 1st and the end of May, and therefore, of course, when you increase the anomaly compared to normal, you're raising the bar, so to speak. But it's going to be interesting to see where this May winds up in terms of rainfall as well as temperature. And of course, rainfall is a difficult one because, of course, it can become very convective at this time of the year, depending on the synoptic charts and the setup that we've got in place. And of course, when you could have in essence a relatively dry pattern, but thunderstorms could dump upwards of a month's worth of rain in a very short space of time in a given area. So when I say, the drier than normal theme, we're talking about, of course, a broader area, and quite often you get isolated events where rainfall can very quickly go above normal for the month. So like I say, it becomes a little bit more tricky, especially when you start to get warmth involved in the pattern. Colder than normal, as you can see here across the eastern portion of Europe. Now, this is the GFS. This is the overnight run of the GFS, and it's actually quite interesting to see that it actually kind of almost slightly retreats back from its the warm surge later on in the week and into next weekend. But if you notice here, high pressure centred just to the east of the British Isles. We've got plenty of sunshine, and where that sunshine is present, we will see the temperature respond very nicely indeed during the course of the day. So as we play through the loop here, if I can get it, that is, you can see here that we've got weather gathering over the Atlantic here, and as we press through the week, we've got a frontal system moving through. Wind and rain going to be the main story. Always drier, brighter, sunnier, warmer across the southeastern half of the British Isles. Then as we push into the heart of the week, you can see here a system moving bodily in, and also within this upper level trough, with systems rotating around that, we are also entraining some relatively chilly air as well. So we're going to see temperatures get pegged back somewhat as we press through the course of the work week. You can see here these areas of low pressure kind of pinballing around the trough overall. Then as that system finally leaves during the end of the week, we then see a ridge of high pressure returning once again, and it looks as if the modelling sees that high pressure kind of maintaining itself through the course of next weekend and into the following week here, and that could persist for quite some time. We could see all the way through much of the following week. So this week unsettled, settling things down end of the week, next weekend, and then right the way through the following week we could see fairly dry conditions indeed. Now notice how high pressure starts to kind of reposition itself up towards Scandinavia. We're actually pulling our air in from the east, and that could be a fairly fresh airflow here, and in a sense cutting off that southerly flow, so we don't transport or import that warmth from Iberia, from the Mediterranean. As you can see here, looking at the 850 millibar temperatures, you can see that here. If we get back to the current setup, if I get the right chart, that is, bear with me a wee second, here we go. So I'll get back to the current setup here. We've got relatively cooler at 850, if you notice here. That's why, despite the sunshine, we're not seeing temperatures rocket well into the 20s. With sunshine, we've got that relatively chilly air aloft. But of course, if you start to warm things up in the middle levels, and you have the presence of sunshine, you're going to see the temperatures at the surface respond quite nicely at this time of the year. So as I play through the loop here, you can see that we have that trough moving through, kind of pinballing around that trough as areas of low pressure, going to keep things fairly unsettled through the course of this upcoming work week. Then high pressure moves in. We do have some modestly mild air moving in, but notice this very latest run of the model sees the area of high pressure move to the north, and then we actually open the door to something fresher, something chilly coming in from the east. But this model is likely to kind of change as we press through the day. With each new model run, we're going to see that solution kind of flex back and forward here. So it's going to fluctuate quite significantly, I think, back and forth as we go forward here. So kind of take that overnight run with a pinch of salt. The general consensus is that we have relatively unsettled conditions through the course of the week, settling things down at the end of the week. Through next weekend, we could see some temperatures more applicable to June, even July, I think, as we go forward. As we look at the ECMWF, let's have a look at the solution here. Go back to the overview chart. High pressure, similar to the GFS, centered over the North Sea, as you can see here. Then we've got, of course, weather systems moving in off the Atlantic. That is going to be followed by shower activity and fresh westerly winds, as you can see here. That system moves out. We've got another system moves through. Notice it takes a little bit more of a kind of southerly track. We've got more weather moving through the course of the week, and then there's that area of high pressure builds up across the UK. But notice it too also kind of goes up towards Scandinavia. So the modelling is kind of adjusting, fluctuating a wee bit with regards to the solution next week. And like I say, we don't have the same connection with the south, so therefore the air masses in these runs at least aren't indicating quite as warm as what they initially suggested here. So the good old flexing and unpredictability of the models continues. Will we see a surge of mid-month heat across the British Isles? That, of course, remains to be seen. Nothing is written in stone, of course, but I do expect to see some major warm weather for the month of May, at least, moving through over the next 10 days or so. I think once we get towards the period, really, from about the 12th through the 18th of May, that window, I believe, is where we could see a real surge of heat. Now, of course, just a few years back, I think it was 2017, we've seen a temperature on the Murray Coast just east of Inverness at 29 Celsius in Lossiemouth. So temperatures can knock on the door of 30 degrees, and it hasn't been that long ago that we've seen some very, very warm temperatures during the second half of May. And I think, given the overall setup, given the pattern, we could see that happening this month, where we see temperatures rise well into the 20s across much of the British Isles. But it, of course, all depends on the setup as we go forward. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back again hopefully tomorrow with more. Bye for now.